right, it's day 3 of my 100 days of videoing, vlogging, actually I just learned is the correct term. So yeah, today I think I'm going to talk about something that I was talking about with one of my clients earlier, and that then I also listened to on a podcast about, and that I just am a firm believer in, which is self-trust. A lot of people come to me asking, how do I find the right partner? How do I get my relationship on track? What does it take for a marriage to last? What's the best, online service for finding a partner? All these questions are very different from each other, obviously, but I think what it comes down to is being able to trust ourselves. And I say this because at the end of the day, even if you are doing your very best to find somebody and you are pulling out all the stops, and maybe even you've exhausted all avenues, or maybe you've gone through a lot in your relationship, like a lot of rejection, maybe a lot of turmoil. I think at the end of the day, if you trust yourself enough to walk away from those situations or continue trying, or you trust yourself enough to be able to identify when something is going right and when something is going wrong, I think that there's a certain level of resilience that happens there. And I think, especially the question of an online dating service, if you can find a service online that helps you trust yourself, that's the way to go. I know that a lot of people are referring to dating websites, but I think before you can actually go after, finding a partner, you need to know in your heart of hearts that you'll know that person when they come along, right? You'll know when to walk away from something that isn't in alignment, or you'll know that if you fall in love with somebody and they don't reciprocate, that you'll be okay afterwards. That all takes a level of self-trust and knowing that you're going to be fine, and that you're capable of recovering, and you're capable of continuing to search, and you're capable of saying no to things that don't align and yes to things that do. If we spent more time on honing that skill, on self-trust, I think that we would be much less worried about whether or not we're going to end up alone, or whether or not someone will love us, because self-trust doesn't require outside perspective. It requires self-perspective. I think that maybe if, somebody did leave you, not fearing that so much means knowing that even in your aloneness, you'll be fine. So yeah, that's my answer to that. Focusing more on self-trust and less on trying so hard to make everybody happy around us. Instead of focusing on, getting the validation from outside of us, validating ourselves. And this is a lesson I've had to learn that's been a tough one, to be honest. And I'm still learning. Part of why it's hard for me to really actually do this vlog to begin with is because a lot of me was, hesitant because I was worried about what other people might think about what I have to say. To be honest, I think we all struggle with that. I know I do. So yeah, learning to trust ourselves more, to validate ourselves, and I think it would alleviate a lot of other worries in our life. I'm going to actually read you a poem that my favorite author wrote, Mark Nepo. And I was reading his book, The Book of Awakening, a couple years ago when I was first starting to discover that there was something more to myself that I needed to explore. So I started reading that book. It's a daily read for a whole year, and I've read it now for the last 3 years, and some of the lessons didn't even sink in till this year, and so I'm sure it will continue to be that way. But he's a poet, and I have, that nature as well. Poetry just gets to me. So this is one of his poems. It's called Breaking Surface. Let no one keep you from your journey. No rabbi or priest. No mother who wants you to dig for treasures she misplaced. No father who won't let one life be enough. No lover who measures their worth by what you might give up. No voice that tells you in the night it can't be done. Let nothing dissuade you from seeing what you see, or feeling the winds that make you want to dance alone, or go where no one has yet to go. You are the only explorer, your heart the unreadable compass, your soul the shore of a promise too great to be ignored. I love that so much. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Day 3.